Welcome back to Ghost Tales by the Fireside. It's been a while, 6 months in fact, and I want to thank you for your patience. I've been deep in a few other projects, but now I'm back, ready to share more strange and shadowy tales with you. This episode is a tale of arrogance, revenge, and a curse that echoed down through the centuries. This is the Earl and the Romany. This is a ghost story, but it is also a love story, as all the best ghost stories are. A tale of passion that defied not only death, but the rigid barriers of class, privilege and expectation. On certain summer evenings, when the sun dips low over the sandstone ridges of Kinver Edge, and the air grows still, walkers have reported a haunting sight. A tall, proud man in a gentleman's coat, walking hand in hand with a dark-haired beauty in Romany dress. They move silently, side by side, along the crest of the hills, forever locked in a love that neither life nor death could tear apart. Their laughter is faint, but musical, carried by the wind. Their eyes, it is said, do not age. This is their story. In the year 1850, George Harry Grey was 23 years old. He was the 7th Earl of Stamford and Warrington, a man descended from greatness. His bloodline was woven with noble names, including the ill-fated Lady Jane Grey, Queen for 9 days. Born into immense privilege, Harry Grey had inherited not one but 2 earldoms, along with a princely income of £90,000 a year, a staggering sum for his time. His holdings were vast, his titles weighty, and his reputation gilded by athleticism and charm. He was tall, strikingly handsome, and it seemed blessed by every possible fortune. His country estate at Enville, nested at the edge of Staffordshire, near the beautiful Kinver Edge, was a jewel in the rural crown. Though technically outside the boundaries of the Black Country, Enville and the surrounding villages were beloved by its people, who often travelled to the area seeking air, adventure and beauty. They would come to know this tale well. Far from these verdant hills, in the little Dorset village of Sturminster Marshall, another life began. A baby girl, Catherine Cox, was born into hardship, the daughter of a Romany woman and a farm labourer. Her early years were marked by tragedy. When she was still a child, her father was killed in a farm accident. Her mother, grief-stricken and unable to cope, returned to life on the road, leaving young Catherine and her siblings to fend for themselves. Alongside her sisters, Susan and Polly, Catherine made her way to London, where the 3 of them found a place in the chaotic but vibrant world of horses, showmen, and travelling performers. They lived and worked under the roof of Jem Mason, a legendary horse trainer known to gypsies and gentry alike. Catherine grew into a striking young woman, graceful, strong, and breathtakingly beautiful. Her life was hard, but she was resilient, skilled with horses, and quick to learn the trade of show riding and fortune-telling. Her beauty caught the eye of many, but it was Percy Fielding, the son of the Earl of Denbigh, who won her heart, or at least stirred her soul. For a time, theirs was a romance whispered about in hushed tones, a scandalous affair between noble blood and Romany spirit. Catherine, it is said, fell deeply in love, In 1854, she bore him a daughter, also named Catherine. But the affair, like many such liaisons, was doomed. Captain Fielding was ordered away to fight in the Crimean War, and soon after, the affair was over. With little more than her child and her pride, Catherine returned to London and to the modest stables of Jem Mason. Meanwhile, back in Enville, Lord Harry Grey was living the life of a country gentleman, widowed but popular, athletic and admired. He threw himself into sports, community events and horse racing. His love for fine horses eventually brought him to Jem Mason's stables in London, in search of new bloodstock. But it was not a horse that stole his attention that day. It was Catherine. As she led a colt through its paces, her dark eyes met his. It was, by all accounts, love at first sight. The dashing noble lord and the beautiful gypsy-born horsewoman began a passionate courtship that defied all social expectation. The romance was whirlwind and electric. Despite her past, despite her bloodline, despite the whispered objections of his family and the stares of high society, Harry Grey married Catherine. Before she could be accepted into society, Catherine was sent to stay with one of the Earl's more refined relatives, where she received the polish expected of a countess. A year later, she was presented at Enville as the Earl's new wife, but the glittering world of aristocracy was not kind. To the lords and ladies of the Earl's circle, she was never truly one of them. Many sneered behind lace fans and muttered cruel words into brandy glasses. But to the people, to the tenants, the labourers and the servants, Catherine was a revelation. She treated them with kindness and respect. She gave food to the hungry, money to the desperate, and even showed compassion to petty thieves. One story tells of a young man who was caught stealing flowers from the estate gardens. Catherine, touched by his simple crime, pleaded with her husband to show mercy. He did. Their marriage was by all accounts full of joy and affection. Catherine adored the Earl, despite his arrogance, and he in turn was utterly devoted to her. He even welcomed her relatives into his homes, allowing them to live in comfort. A gesture, some say, was born of love, others of guilt. But Harry Grey had a fatal flaw. He was reckless with money, obsessed with horse racing, and desperate to be seen as a king amongst sporting men. He invested heavily and foolishly. Fortune slipped through his fingers like sand. He mortgaged estates, chased impossible victories, and watched as his wealth crumbled around him. Catherine remained loyal. Even as the walls closed in and the creditors knocked, she stayed by his side. When he died in 1883, childless and nearly bankrupt, the title passed to a distant cousin in South Africa. But Harry left Enville village to Catherine, who vowed to restore it. Widowed and heartbroken, she threw herself into the work, opening the estate to black country visitors and managing it with a keen and disciplined hand. For a time it worked. But fate, so often cruel in Catherine's life, felt one final blow. In 1904, Enville Hall was ravaged by fire. The devastation was total. Catherine never recovered. 2 months later, she died, her heart broken for the second time. She took one final secret to her grave, the truth about her daughter. Catherine never told the Earl of her child with Captain Fielding. It would have scandalised him, perhaps destroyed everything. Yet quietly and with great care, she had brought her daughter to Enville and placed her in the care of a trusted woman who lived near the rectory. The girl grew up under the Countess's watchful eye, loved but unacknowledged. After the Countess's death, the estate passed not to aristocrats or strangers, but to another Catherine, her great niece, who had married into the family of the Duke of Montrose, and whose husband later took the name Grey. He would become Sir Henry Folly Grey, the first mayor of Stourbridge in 1914. And so the legacy lived on. Today, Enville has fallen into the quiet rhythm of the countryside, eclipsed somewhat by the popularity of Kinver Edge. But locals still speak of the Earl and his Romany bride. Some swear they've seen them walking the hills, hand in hand, eyes only for each other. No longer bound by duty or debt or expectation, just two souls forever joined. If you listen carefully on a still summer evening, you might just hear the laughter of the Earl and the Countess echoing through the trees. A love story, a ghost story, and a reminder that some bonds are eternal. Thank you for listening to Ghost Tales by the Fireside. If you enjoy this channel, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, it's very appreciated. You can find more information about the episodes on the website ghosttales.co.uk and the Facebook page Ghost Tales Podcast, and also on Instagram at Ghost Tales Podcast. All music, research, writing, production, art and sound effects are all my own work.